What makes you mad more than anything in the world? What gets under your skin and just ticks you off? I know that this is an iconic question once posed by the great Ned Schneebly in School of Rock, but it applies to what I want to talk about today, because for one unhinged psychopath, the answer to this question was so baffling he ends up throwing his life away for something extremely insignificant. We've all got mad at small things, right? You know, getting killed in a video game that you think is the result of lag, or maybe someone gives you some goofy eyeballs and you don't like the way they look at you and it makes you feel a little uneasy and it makes you upset perhaps. We've all got mad at something mundane. But one man in Oregon just got so upset that a parade forced him to go on a bit of a detour that he decided to bulldoze through the blockade and then drive through the parade, nearly hitting people, including children, and will now likely spend the rest of his life behind bars, rightfully so. This is an individual with a severe case of stick-it-to-the-man-neosis. He fucking lost his mind and filmed himself doing it the entire time, by the way, all because of a slight detour for a parade. Now, there was one intellectual in chat last night that for some reason his comment was so stupid that it's sticking with me and just marinating in my brain about this story. He said, "Why is he getting punished? No one got hurt." Brother, let me sit you down in the stupid chair real quick. You can't bulldoze through a blockade, and keep in mind, I haven't shown you the video yet, but I will in a second. There is a scene, like straight out of an old 90s action film, where he like ramps his car up on two fucking wheels in order to squeeze through the blockade more efficiently and blast through the parade. You can't do that because you're endangering all the lives around you. I can't believe that that even needs explaining in any capacity at all. It blows my mind that I even need to tell you why that's bad. Especially when we've already seen a couple times in the past someone using their vehicle as a weapon during parades where they hit and kill people. Even if his goal wasn't the attempted murder of people at the parade, he almost hit people, and this easily could have ended up in a situation where he did hit, harm, or even kill people from this reckless action. So just because he narrowly avoided a fatal catastrophe doesn't mean that he shouldn't be punished. He is not fit to be in society. And not only that, I'm going to go ahead and give away a big spoiler, he's also a fucking pedophile. He has a rap sheet that extends for like most of his life, and a lot of the crimes involve sex crimes with minors apparently. I'll just go ahead and play you the news segment here that we went over on stream. You see the video of the guy driving through the Portland parade? Oh, that was so fucking weird, yeah. He didn't hit anyone, but it was so weird. I didn't see the whole video, but I saw like the first bit.
Dashcam footage obtained by NBC affiliate KGW submitted by prosecutors.
Brave showing it. No, he doesn't hit anyone. I don't exactly. They said road rage, but I don't exactly know what it was in particular. But for some reason, he just drives to the parade and then just drives fucking through it. It's crazy. It was unhinged.
Frustrated, stuck in traffic due to road closures clearing the way for Portland's Grand Floral Parade. His anger boiling over.
They got it all blocked off. The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit.
Wait, so this was all over the road being blocked off for a parade? Holy shit. I don't think I've ever been that mad over anything in my life. Jesus, he's got that bitch up on two wheels. God damn. Like I said, he doesn't hit anyone, but look at this shit. That's terrifying. This is his camera POV. Well, yeah, obviously it's his camera POV. They didn't put like a drone on his hood or anything. For some reason, he records his own cabin, even though I can't imagine this is an isolated incident with this kind of blow up. Yeah, this is the guy. He caught himself in 4K.
Charged with 38 counts, including attempted assault and reckless endangerment. He has pleaded not guilty. Residents in
not guilty, huh? Are we sure? I've been framed.
Court documents show Metcham is from Portland and has been in and out of prison and juvenile detention since he was 15 on sex abuse convictions against minors.
Whoa.
No trial date.
So he's a pedophile too. Good lord. What the fuck?
For these latest charges, Valerie.
All right, Aaron, thank
Well
you.
then.
Thanks for watching.
What a situation. All that because they blocked off the road for a fucking parade. They should just... Well, I mean, I don't think he's leaving jail again. 38 counts? I mean, shocker. You can't do this. You can't just drive through a parade like that. So I don't think he's going to be leaving jail anytime soon. He was probably late to the Chris Hansen meetup. I really wonder what he was in such a rush for. I am curious. Man heard the elementary school was about to get out and he wanted to go get good seats. I have no idea what he'd be so angry about for having like a slight detour. You would think someone would be careful driving when they have a suspended license. Well, not only that, you'd think he'd be even more cautious having a suspended license and also being a fucking pedophile. Like, the last thing you'd want is for people to know about you. This man just put himself out there in the biggest way possible. The Macy's going back to jail parade. Good one. Suspended license, no insurance, and he's self-recording. The self-recording might actually just be a court order, though, to make sure there's no children in his car. Like, I can't imagine this guy would be self-recording on his own volition. This had to be, like, the government stepping in saying, listen, you can have access to a motor vehicle, but we have to know who's inside your cabin at all times. The gall to plead not guilty, though, when he records himself doing it is incredible. I understand that that's probably just like the standard legal strategy, but man, that is very silly. Keep in mind, this is all alleged. Of course, yes. He allegedly drove through the parade while recording himself screaming and running through this entire celebration, and then parking his car. It could have been anyone. We don't know yet. It was all AI. That's going to be a real legal defense strategy pretty soon. Your Honor, that's not my client. It's a deep fake. My client can't even make this face. I want to show you a bit from his dash cam perspective here because it's diabolical. He goes over the traffic cones and now he starts speeding up. He's treating this like it's a game of Grand Theft Auto 5, so he pops it up here. He's got his action movie stunt going on. He goes through the bigger blockades and the bigger trucks, and then he gets around to the actual parade. And this is where things get really scary. This is that kind of shit that has you hold your breath when you see the footage, because he is going fast. This man is fucking zooming. He is cruising here, nearly loses control because he, like, hops over the grass there, it seems. And then it almost feels like right here he starts contemplating whether or not to hit people. He then continues to drive through the parade for a lot longer, and there's also, like, a police officer that tries to get him to stop. He refuses to, and eventually drives out of the parade and away. All of this over having to just be slightly inconvenienced because of a detour due to a parade. It's fucking crazy. There are absolute lunatics out there. It's frightening. Just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. Yep. I've used Uber and Lyft hundreds of times each, Uber more than Lyft, and I've never had a notably awful experience before. You know, I've never gotten into a car and felt unsafe. You know, I look at my driver and he's wearing like a trench coat and sharpening a hacksaw and then winks at me. I've never had like a really bad time with ride sharing. The only time it got wacky and weird was one time I took an Uber leaving the bar, and on the way home, I was convinced I was in the car with a prophet, like an angel. We were driving on the interstate, just two boys being dudes, and out of nowhere, the Uber driver pulls a prophecy out of his asshole. He said, this guy's about to hit the median. And at first, I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought it was like a riddle that I had to solve or something to get money off of the Uber rides. I was like, oh, the answer is at time, you know? But then I realized he was talking about the car in front of us, obviously. And it felt really weird to me because the car wasn't doing anything weird. We were behind them for a little while, like maybe a mile or two, and they weren't driving erratically or recklessly. They didn't look like a drunk driver or anything. And then out of nowhere, a couple of seconds after he said that, he like willed it into existence. The car swerved and scraped against the median and then tried to get back into the lane. Out of fucking nowhere. I was like, oh my god, we are living in a simulation. But yeah, that was my weirdest experience with Uber and ride sharing in general. But of course I've seen the horror stories, like the absolutely awful ones, and this is one of those. This is a pretty special one.
You know, I'm just trying to ask you to go to speed limit is all.
I'm saying I'm gonna go.
Oh, Okay. Okay.
Don't really know what's going on in her car here. She's created a little crime scene there. Like, stepping into this vehicle looks like you'd be stepping into your neighbor's shitty haunted house on Halloween. It's just really goofy looking. I don't get it. I guess it's supposed to be early Halloween decorations. She's got like a blow-up sex doll in the passenger seat. Or maybe it's there to like prevent her passengers from getting up front. Like, hey, you can't sit there. Clearly, this inflatable Mr. Krabs doll's taking that seat. So just get in the back, alright? You know, I don't even know what the fuck it is. I mean, maybe it's an inflatable clown or something. I couldn't tell you, but it's pretty weird stuff. Now, what happened is the passenger asked if they could roll down the window and drive the speed limit, which I think is a pretty reasonable request because this lady's out here driving like it's Grand Theft Auto 5. I was half expecting her to try and ramp this vehicle off of a parked tow truck. She's treating it like it's Fast and Furious universe and she's trying to catch Dominic Toretto. So it's not like the passenger's being an asshole or anything, just asking, hey, can you drive the speed limit so you don't kill both of us here? And that just sets her off. She loses her goddamn mind there. Slow down! Fucking yanks on the e-brake and does a 360. Suck on this, pussy fart! You can hear, like, this tire start screeching. She completely takes her eyes off the road, turns around and starts swiping at the camera like she's a kaiju, like Godzilla trying to knock over a building. And meanwhile, the passenger's laughing the entire time. The absolute fucking dick on this man, the fucking balls of pure adamantium to laugh through an experience like this is inspiring. They could have very easily died here. The driver went feral and totally forgot they were operating a vehicle. This could have ended up like the Billy Madison scene where O'Doyle Rules just fucking shoots their car off a cliff like a missile. And meanwhile, the whole time, the guy's just giggling about it.
Alright. Well, you got to... Hey, you're gonna have to open that trunk. I'm not going anywhere until you open that trunk.
Unironically, she starts squealing. Literally squealing. This is what a small dog sounds like when it's trying to intimidate a larger dog, but it's also very afraid as well. It actually sounds like somebody stepped on a toad. It is shocking that a human being can make this noise with their vocal cords. This is what it sounds like to smoke 15 packs a day.
Alright. Well, you got to... Hey, you're gonna have to open that trunk.
Sorry to hit you with the surprise instant replay on the Jumbotron. It's just I'm so impressed with her ability to hit this screeching note. This is the brown note. Like, hearing that makes a human being involuntarily shit themselves. This is such an abhorrent sound. It's like someone's recorder broke, but they still desperately tried to play hot cross buns on it.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
Nope. You're gonna have to get my bag out of your car. I just want my bag, man. That's all I want was my bag. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm no Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, but I'm pretty sure this is a highly illegal act here. You can't just pull over on a busy interstate and kick out the passenger because they could easily just get hit by a car and die, and you're fully responsible for it. What a remarkably reckless decision from this asshole here. But credit where credit is due. She did slam him with a real humdinger, saying, fuck you and fuck your mom too. So she tossed in a your mom there, so she really got him. I was really hoping she'd double down and go for a D's nuts as well. Just be like, hey, yeah, you can you get off at the D's exit and find another lift. D's nutties. Then she fucking peels out, drifts in there. But she handled herself like a professional, only sticking with a your mother statement as she launched his suitcase across the road.
Me too.
So she's running around barefoot like a hobbit, threatening an Uno reverse card, saying, well, I'm also filming everything, so that way we have two angles of how stupid I am and how reckless of a driver I am. I don't think there's any world or any multiverse out there where there's a single reality where what she was doing was justifiable. She was driving extremely fast and reckless. She turned around to swipe at the guy's phone while driving extremely fast, tires screeching, and then pulling off to the side of the road to kick him out. Pretty hard to defend stuff, I'd say. As she blasts off back onto the road, she nearly clipped the van that was next to her because she tried to get back too early, and that would have been an absolute catastrophe. Her road rage almost got even more people hurt. Then she left this guy stranded. I'm assuming he was able to find his way back to civilization after being dropped off in the middle of fucking nowhere on the interstate. And yeah, I don't really think this is the best Lyft experience. I would imagine this is at the absolute least 2 stars, I would say. It has to be. Because this was not great. This was not, spectacular service, I would argue. But at least he survived the trip. I was getting worried when she was driving the car and slamming backwards, screeching tires and shit. I thought that was just going to be the end of him. I thought we were looking at like some Blair Witch Project found footage kind of shit, but luckily everyone was okay. That's about it. So yeah. Another day, another Kick degenerate streaming themselves committing crimes. I swear, there's more crime on Kick than there ever was in Gotham. And today's Kick crime comes from a familiar face that only a mother could love, and I guess OnlyFans girls that are using him for his money, Neon. He recently got released from jail to everyone's dismay, and he is already back on the grind producing content for the weirdos that no one really likes. Yesterday, he came up with a banger idea for his content where he actually linked up with a criminal who is somehow a bigger loser than Neon, if you can believe that. His name is Squeeze, and he's considered the most dangerous driver in New York. He rents supercars and then films himself driving recklessly on public roads, endangering the lives of all the innocent people around him so he can attempt to goad the police into chasing him so that he can flee. Jiminy Christmas, how cool is that? This clout-obsessed turbo douchebag is somehow more lame than Neon, which I didn't think was possible. I didn't know a specimen like that could exist in this realm. So the two of them together, that was a match made in heaven. If they weren't streaming, they probably would have been fucking each other. Two ultimate losers coming together to commit crimes. So they streamed on Kick, of course driving recklessly, and then it ends up with them in a hit and run.
Okay, alright, we're good. Calm. Oh my god! Oh my fuck! What the fuck?
Oh, shit.
What the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Everything is 100% good.
drop me off.
We're good.
Neon begs to be let out of the car, and his wish was granted. They let him out, and then he starts running away, saying that he needs to get inside and off the street. He starts treating it like he's trying to lose stars in Grand Theft Auto here. So he is clearly freaked out by all of this. He also just got out of jail, and now he could be looking at some more problems. Now, granted, he wasn't the one driving, so I don't think he'd face any serious repercussions, though I imagine maybe they could come after him for setting this up, because this was clearly the idea behind the stream, is get together with the most dangerous driver and do some dangerous driving for Neon's stream to entertain his audience. So it'd be like premeditated crimes, pretty much, for the sake of Kick streams. Now, Neon has been banned for this, and I know it's not going to be permanent, because nothing on Kick ever is. They are a platform that is impossible to take seriously, because it is pretty much used by a lot of people as a place to just broadcast actual illegal activity, and Kick still does really nothing about it, except give them a 72-hour ban at most. Which always makes me laugh, because a lot of Kick streamers, as well as Kick themselves, would talk about how Twitch is so inconsistent with their rules, which they are, don't get me wrong. So like a girl spreading her butthole live on camera, or even having full-blown sex on cam on Twitch only resulted in a 3-day ban. Meanwhile, Kick still does the same kind of shit for similar content like that, as well as actual crimes that are being broadcast there. They are still guilty of doing exactly the same shit of terrible enforcement of their rules. And it blows my mind that they don't see that. Like, for some reason, it's different when Kick only gives a 72-hour ban for someone having sex on stream, or not even ban them for having sex on stream most of the time. And also only gives like a 72-hour ban for fucking criminal activity. It's laughable. But anyway, after the hit and run and the adrenaline started to wear off, Neon did a bit of reflecting in a very somber mood about how everything went awry.
I was there to do a Q&A, sit in his car. We agreed and handshaked only 10 over the speed limit, and this retard just went crazy, and I can't do shit. I'm sitting in the car. What the fuck am I supposed to do, bro? I can't just jump out when it's going 100 miles per hour, bro. So, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, bro. Don't tell me to shut up, bro. Don't tell me to shut up, bro.
Shut up. I like how even his own chat is bullying him here. Like I've always said, if he wasn't a streamer, he would probably be a professional swirly victim. Like, his face would know the inside of a toilet bowl better than anyone else on the planet. This guy is so unlikable and insufferable. So he's trying to say that this whole thing was just supposed to be a Q&A where he sits in his car and Squeeze only goes 10 over the speed limit. I highly doubt that's what was agreed upon. Squeeze is addicted to attention, so he has done an interview before, and even in that interview, he does something similar to what he did with Neon here. Granted, to a lesser degree with the other interviewer, because obviously the other guy is taken more seriously than someone as pathetic as Neon, but still, there's no way Neon went into this not expecting to get into high-speed, illegal shenanigans. That must have been the entire point of doing this. Why would you just interview him again after he was just interviewed by somebody else? Like, it wouldn't make any sense, and Neon is not an interviewer. He's not in anything. Neon is the human nothing burger. So the only thing that he could have possibly concocted here for his stream is to excite them with Squeeze driving recklessly as Neon screams like a bitch in the passenger seat. That had to be the entire purpose behind it, not some kind of fucking Q&A with Neon at the helm. That sounds like the biggest snooze fest of all time, and he knows that. He knows that he is uninteresting. So he would have absolutely said to Squeeze, let's just go on one of your stupid joyrides for the stream. That's what I think, and this is Neon trying to cover his own ass since he was literally involved in a hit and run. So he was probably afraid of some repercussions from this, especially since it was streamed on his channel, and it seems like he organized this whole event here. I highly doubt it was ever just supposed to be a very calm Q&A with the most dangerous driver in New York. Neon sucks. Like, he would not broadcast him doing some kind of Q&A format. That is so boring. I would rather listen to a 2-hour audiobook lecture on the Krebs cycle than ever listen to Neon interview someone. And I know his fans feel the same way. Like, his view bots, they don't really care. They're gonna be there regardless because Neon's paying for them. But the ones that actually watch him are like the perpetual jingling keys addicted children, and they are not going to just watch a dumb Q&A with Neon. So he would have absolutely said, just go crazy and I'll stream it. That's what I think.
Squeeze! Squeeze! Please! Please, 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 bro! Please, bro! Squeeze! Enough! Come on, bro! Please, dude! Please, dude! Please, dude, no. The cop's right there, Oh my god, he almost crashed! Chill, stop. Stop, you're tripping! Squeeze, that's a cop, Squeeze, that's a cop. That's a cop, you're tripping.
Even before the hit and run, this just seems unwatchable. Who wants to listen to him peek the mic through squealing the entire time? Plus, I just find this entire activity of driving recklessly on the interstate super fucking cringe. I can always appreciate talented driving, but that's not this. This trend of douchebags just driving extremely fast on the interstate and weaving between cars cutting up is not impressive. Like, I don't think there's anything impressive about that at all. My fucking grandmother used to do that when I was a kid, and I hated it then too. She used to cruise around on the interstate taking me to Perkins in her 1978 Chevrolet ass tutor or whatever, and she'd do this, and there was nothing cool about it. My grandmother used to do this, and it wasn't cool then either, but now all of a sudden there's a lot of people that think it is, I guess, because it's becoming somewhat popular. It shit sucks. All you're doing is putting your life and everyone else's life at risk for nothing, literally nothing. I did do a bit of a deep dive on Squeeze in particular, though. He does seem to be a pretty talented driver, especially when it comes to drifting. But all he uses it for is this, illegal criminal shit, and putting people's lives on the line for nothing. Why not actually do something cool with that ability? Why use it for this garbage? It's fucking frustrating, it's infuriating. And the best case scenario is, when Squeeze inevitably does crash doing some of this content, he doesn't take anyone else with him. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. Another classic kick crime. That's it. So yeah. I've talked about this on stream, but I don't think I've ever made a full video going over it. I'm very confident that none of you watching this video right now will be able to guess my least favorite genre of content on the internet. This isn't like a pop quiz, this is a step above that. This is an SAT level question here. And I'm reading you like a book, I'm inside your mind. I've infiltrated your noodle like Charles Xavier. I bet all of you went to something simple and obvious, like, oh, his least favorite genre of content has gotta be pranks, or fake videos, cringe trends, scammers, and they're all great guesses. Of course, I do dislike all of that, but it's not my least favorite genre of content on the entirety of the cyberspace. That honor belongs to the douchebags that drive cars extremely fast and dangerously on public roads around other people, endangering their lives. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's a group of losers online who come from very privileged backgrounds. Most of these people are like late teens, early 20s that come from mommy and daddy's money and never stop suckling on their tit to get as much dollars out of their family as they can. So these trust fund kids have these expensive cars and they flex by just driving them fast on like the interstate or even residential roads, and they just disregard every other vehicle on the road, weave around them, blow by them, whatever. Just caution to the wind, and obviously it's extremely dangerous, but it's also extremely boring. They're not doing anything impressive. They're not like fucking Dominic Toretto ramping a muscle car off of a parked tow truck like it's something out of GTA 5. They are actual just goobers, not even on manual transmission 9 times out of 10, just going around innocent people and going by them extremely fast. It's fucking stupid. It is legitimately like watching static on a television screen. It's just mind-numbing. So it's not only dangerous, but it's for literally no entertainment value at all. I guess for them it's like an adrenaline rush because they could die at any moment, because obviously they can at those speeds. But the reason I'm talking about this is because one of these assholes actually just went viral, and he's been getting dunked on ever since. And I've actually been following his Twitter since he popped off because I wanted to see what else he does, and this is his whole personality. All he does is drive his mom's BMW fast and recklessly. Wow, holy shit, that was epic. Did you see how fast he was going? On a straight road, doing nothing, not even stick shifts, automatic transmission, he's Weenie Hut Jr. mode. It's like watching the world's most boring cutscene in a video game. That is this dude. That is this whole fucking community. So obviously a million things could have gone wrong here. Someone could have been trying to cross the street. Someone could have been making a lane change, and he wouldn't have had time to stop at the speed he was going because it was over 100, and there would have been no survivors. He's also driving one-handed while filming with the other, which is just another thing to add to the laundry list of dog shit about this video. I've also seen this guy's arms, and I've got to tell you, he's got that fucking SpongeBob build, but without the anchor arms. I am shocked he even has the strength to open the door to this BMW to get inside of it. So I hate this shit. I hate this more than Garfield hates Mondays. This is my least favorite genre of content by far. He is not the only one doing it, obviously, but right now he is the proudest douchebag about it, and this went the most viral, so it's got people talking about it. He's also just this insufferable asshole in the comments who keeps flexing his parents' wealth on people, saying that anyone that dislikes this is just poor, and he openly recognizes that this is going to get him killed. This fucking guy is glued to his Twitter replies like a teenage girl on Instagram. He is replying to everyone, so I've actually got a pretty good handle on this dude's entire personality. He loves like Rainbow Six Siege and shit, and loves endangering the lives of innocent people around him. He has no remorse. He openly talks about how it doesn't bother him, and that when he does crash, it's probably going to lead to him dying. Though he did mention in one other case that if he does crash and survives, he'll probably just run away. What a stand-up guy. What an absolute gold star citizen right there. What a fucking hero. Now with this kind of content, it's just a ticking time bomb. It's really just a matter of when, not if, he crashes. So the best case scenario here, like the best outcome you can hope for, is that when he inevitably does crash, he doesn't take any lives with him. Just gotta hope for a single car accident. Maybe he even survives and learns from the experience, but the most important part is no one else is a victim of this guy's recklessness. This isn't the only video he's posted. Like I mentioned, he has posted another one 3 days ago doing the same thing but endangering more people's lives on the interstate. I forgot to mention, this imbecile actually has the audacity to watermark these videos. It's so laughably pathetic that he actually believes this is something to be proud of. So goddamn embarrassing. I don't know how the fuck you can be so delusional to think that this is something cool. It's also such a headache because I can't use my favorite Fast and Furious line of granny shifting, not double clutching like you should, because it doesn't apply to this guy because he's in automatic transmission again, you fucking worm. He's not even granny shifting. He probably doesn't even know what it means. But yeah, just another demonstration of douchebaggery here. Just weaving between cars, most likely just families on the way home from school or work. How cool, I guess. Just putting them in danger. No matter how great a driver you are, and trust me, this guy is not a great driver, there are just some things you can't account for on the road, and that's other people. There is so much uncertainty when driving that you cannot actually have any power over. The other people on the road behind the wheel are always unpredictable, so driving recklessly around them is just a death wish. This kind of selfish clout goblin behavior, this look at me, I'm the main character kind of shit that leads to content like this is so fucking frustrating. It's so dumb. I can't stand it. And the most insulting part of all of it is he's putting everyone at risk around him, all of their lives in danger, for boring content too. It's not even entertaining content. It's not even like this is thrilling to watch. It's a fucking snooze fest. It's all of it, top to bottom, is complete trash. Absolute trash. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today, and that's about it. So yeah. There's few things on this planet that make me more mad than drunk drivers. I've said that a lot in the past, so that shouldn't come as some kind of shocking revelation, but what is shocking is the clip that I saw today from two degenerate kick streamers who proudly broadcast themselves drinking and driving while speeding on the interstate and acting like they're playing Need for Speed Underground 2. Literally putting every innocent person's life at risk on that road. Their content was commit a crime and see if you get to witness them die in the act and go straight to hell. And also most likely take others to the grave with them. It is so fucking incomprehensibly evil. Goofy sex offender Stash here takes a huge swig from the Smirnoff while driving recklessly. So, Inbred Speed Racer is broadcasting all this on Kick, which is very successful for this type of content because the audience loves to see people gamble with their lives. I have no doubt his viewers were on the edge of their seat, biting at their nails, wondering, are they about to witness two stupid assholes get themselves killed? And you can see in the chat that they are celebrating. They are pumping their fists. This is the best content ever, because they might get to watch these dumb fucking douchebags die. Yeehaw. What a fucking disgusting situation. Now, I suppose there is a chance that the Smirnoff has been replaced with water. Doesn't change the reckless driving. That's not smoke and mirrors or CGI or anything. They're not exactly on the set where The Mandalorian was filmed or anything. So that's still 100% authentic. But I guess it is possible that they're not drinking and driving. But I find that very unlikely. But let's just go ahead and suspend disbelief. Let's assume they're faking drunk driving. They're so pathetic. What an absolute vermin. So desperate for clout from Kick, of all places. That's like being the class president of the loony bin, that you'll pretend to be committing a crime for their entertainment. They are there to just watch you ruin your life, and you're proudly dancing for them, you absolute clowns. But the worst part about this is they're not just ruining their lives, they could have potentially ended the lives of completely innocent people around them. That is just evil, no matter how you spin this. 100% I think this is real. I don't think they replaced the Smirnoff with water. I am confident that these degenerates were actually drinking and driving while doing this. Just throws the bottle of Smirnoff out the window there for some reason. It's like a child with a sugar rush. Just has so much energy, so much adrenaline going on right now that he needs to break something, so he fucking throws the bottle of Smirnoff out the window. What losers? What absolute losers? They really think that this is hard. They think that this is cool somehow. The guy driving isn't doing anything impressive. He's driving on an interstate changing lanes. It's just dangerous. It's not impressive. Anyone can do that if they have a disregard for their lives and the safety of everyone around them as well. It's not like a very incredible maneuver that we're witnessing, a fucking master of his craft. You know, this isn't something you'd see in Fast and Furious and just be like, wide-eyed and blown away by the talent, and then his stupid fucking friend here feeding him alcohol while he himself is also drinking, and then throwing it out the window like it's a grenade. Like, this is the lamest shit ever, and they really are so proud of it. Risking your life for 125 viewers and 6 chatters. Nice. Imagine just throwing everything away, committing crimes for 125 viewers that are all there just to see if you're gonna die or not. What a miserable existence that must be. They need to be thrown in jail. 100%. Lock them the fuck up. I think the evidence here is irrefutable. We've got them documenting their own crimes in 4K, well, it's definitely not 4K, documenting their own crimes in crisp 480p kick stream here. It should be a slam dunk case for whoever wants to pursue that. For their safety and the safety of everyone around them, they need to be in jail. 100%. Because they'll probably keep doing this. I imagine this won't be their last drunk driving stream. This is probably just the beginning. They'll probably try and make this their whole brand right now because I have no doubt they view it as a very successful stream. I think the only thing we can pray for here is that when they inevitably do crash, they don't hurt anyone else around them. Or hopefully they get arrested before that happens. Who knows? But anyway, wanted to talk about this a little bit because it had me fuming. It had my blood boiling. I have absolutely no tolerance for drunk drivers whatsoever. There's no excuse for it, and the fact that you're so proud of it to be streaming the entire thing is crazy to me and just foul. It's fucked up. That's about it. See ya. The other day on stream, I read about a story that's been weighing on my mind ever since. I can't stop thinking about it just because of how ridiculous it is, so I want to share it with all of you. It was a road rage incident in New Zealand, and at this point in my life, I feel like New Zealand is a second home to me because Troy, the other half of the Gentlemen, our music project, lives there. He is a born and raised Kiwi, and I keep up with a lot of New Zealand news, so when I see stories like this, there's like a sense of like disappointment and dread, like, come on, New Zealand, you're better than this. But anyway, in this road rage incident, the driver of a vehicle got very upset at a dog walker, so much so that he grabbed a sword from his car and started trying to carve him up with it, basically. He hit him with like a Mortal Kombat 1 Kinshi fatality. He left him with nearly fatal injuries. It was a miracle that the victim survived thanks to timely intervention from his son. And it's worth noting that the, last samurai here did this with his wife and child in the vehicle, nearly murdered a man in front of them over absolutely nothing. But what makes this story stand out as an affront to God is the fact that the judge ruled that the punishment for the attacker would be 10 months of home detention and 100 hours of community service. He literally said, "Go home, Buster." That's it. No, it's a complete miscarriage of justice here. He gets grounded after nearly murdering a man with a fucking sword. Like, he's been studying the blade, unleashes his forbidden jutsu here, like Demon Slayer shit. He gets out his degenerate breathing techniques, nearly kills this guy in cold blood, and the judge says, "You're grounded." That's crazy to me. He got the same punishment a high school student would if his parents caught him with weed. Like, it blows my mind that he can almost murder somebody with a fucking sword in an act that the judge fully recognizes was madness, cowardly, nearly fatal, and recognizes the severity of it, and then still says, "Just go home." I don't know. The whole thing is baffling, so I just want to share this story with all of you because it is a weird one. You read about the Tesla driver who sliced another driver with a samurai sword in road rage in New Zealand. Man got him with the Bushido arts. Jesus Christ. No, I did not see that. Samurai sword road rage. Man gets home detention for callous and cowardly attack on dog walker. A motorist who... Here, I'll just pull it up on stream. This sounds crazy. A motorist who took a samurai sword to a dog walker in an Auckland road rage incident has been sentenced to home detention. It's not like punishment. Go home. A man was left with chunks of flesh and bone carved out of him after a brutal attack where a driver got out of his car and attacked him with a sword, leaving the pedestrian bleeding in a ditch. The victim, who was walking his dog, survived the attack thanks to his son, who found him and gave him first aid. But the seriousness of the injuries sustained by the victim have left the tradie with lifelong injuries and unable to work. Much to the dismay of the victim's family, Judge Mina Warpuri on Tuesday announced Darren Clark to 10 months home detention, 100 hours of community work, and to pay $5,000 after pleading guilty to causing grievous bodily harm with intent to injure. That's not justice. That's a joke. What in the world? Ruin this guy's life with a samurai sword, and he gets 100 hours of community service and 10 months at home. That's crazy. That's actually insano-style nonsense. Judge Warpuri said the attack was both premeditated and impulsive, but that injuries weren't foreseeable as he had struck him with a scabbard on the blade. Just look at what he's saying. In handing down his sentence, Judge Warpuri praised the actions of the victim's son. Without his timely intervention, it is highly likely your victim would have succumbed to blood loss and died from injuries. And yet the person who perpetrated the attack only gets house arrest for 10 months? I want to go over the severity of the attack here, because it's brutal. So let's go ahead and read about exactly what happened and what the effects were, because the victim's life has forever changed. He can now no longer even do the job that he was doing prior to the attack. The victim was 55 at the time of the attack, and he spotted Clark's Tesla approaching. He stood in the middle lane, motioning for the vehicle to slow down, and tapped the Tesla's roof with his palm as Clark steered the vehicle around him. Clark had his wife and young children with him in the car. He stopped the vehicle, grabbed the sheathed samurai sword, which he claimed to keep in the vehicle for protection, which is a wild thing for protection. Usually it's like a baseball bat or something. This man, for some reason, must have watched one anime and said, that's better than a baseball bat, and then made the switch. But anyway, he gets his sword, he starts swinging the weapon in a downward directional angle, which he described to police as being 50% force. I swear to God, this guy is actually just a weeb. Now he's just making up things. I was only using 50% of my power. He's lucky I didn't go Ultra Instinct plus Ultra on his ass. But it was enough to shatter the sheath on impact and inflict major damage as it sliced through the victim's upper body. He suffered a deep laceration to his neck, down to the bone, without hitting the spinal cord. The complainant's jaw was broken and his facial muscles and nerves were severed. The sword also cleaved a large chunk of flesh and bone from his left shoulder, which required emergency surgery and skin grafts, and also severed tendons in his left hand. The victim then fell into the ditch on the side of the road and Clark drove away. He tried to call for help but was unable to unlock his phone because of all the blood. He was found minutes later by his son who was driving home. And then it talks about the lasting effects. He still suffers facial drooping, speech impediment, ringing in his ears, and can't fully lift his arm because of the severed tendons, which means he can no longer work the profession he dedicated his adult life to. And that profession was an electrician, from what I've read. So his life has forever changed as a result of this. And the attacker, his life was basically a vacation. He just stays at home for 10 months. Like, that's something people do on purpose. Like, for fun. Like, that's just, I don't know, that blows my mind. So apparently the reason they were so light on the sentencing here is because the attacker argued he didn't know that the scabbard broke, and when his wife told him that she had seen a bunch of blood, he panicked, dropped his family off, who was crying and screaming because the young children in his car just witnessed their father go fucking psycho mode. So he claims he dropped them off after realizing the scabbard had broken. He went back to look for the victim, but paramedics and everyone had already shown up, and then he turned himself in. So they're saying that he's expressing deep remorse for what he's done here, and that's why it's so light on sentencing, but I don't think that changes anything. If this guy is fully capable of doing something like this, he's not safe to be around. He's not safe to be in the public like this. For something so small, like having the roof of your Tesla tapped, to nearly kill a man over it is ridiculous. Like, I understand the sword was sheathed at the time, but it doesn't take a lot to break that, clearly. And even still, even if it's sheathed, hitting someone with a blunt object, like a sword sheath, is also enough to kill someone as well. But man, they really put a lot of stock into apologies in New Zealand court, it seems, because that was cited here that he wrote like a letter of apology, and man, that must have been the most beautifully written letter of all time, up there with some of Shakespeare's best work, in order to get out of a serious sentence for nearly murdering someone. But yeah, I've been thinking about this story a lot just because I still can't fully process why the sentencing would be so light on something so severe and so mad and brutal. But yeah, I just wanted to share this story with all of you because I've thought about it a lot recently, and that's really about it. So yeah. Did you see about the police officer that drove into a restaurant and arrested the owner? He crashed his car through the restaurant? 2 videos, lots of questions after police SUV crashes into St. Louis bar. Owner arrested. Man, what? You're under arrest for putting this restaurant in the front of my SUV cruiser. You're in violation. Sounds like a Looney Tunes trap, like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, where they paint like a tunnel on a wall and then just crash into it. 2 videos shared on Tuesday by an attorney for a South St. Louis bar owner show a police SUV crashing into the bar, and part of the aftermath that led to the bar owner being arrested on charges of assault and resisting arrest. Oh, so the charges were separate from the crash. So this guy was just scooting in sideways like an action movie scene. The videos clear up some questions about what happened early Monday outside of the bar. Bar PM, popular gay bar in the city's Carondale neighborhood. I'm sure I butchered that name. But they produced several more. The bar's co-owner, Chad Morris, was charged with third-degree assault and misdemeanor resisting arrest after the crash. Police claimed he pushed an officer and ran from them. Let's see what the footage... Oh my god. It is impossible to use the internet without an ad block these days, but I can't go on these websites with one on anymore. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright. He didn't even really... Man. I can't even rewind the video because I'm getting another ad. He didn't even get far into the restaurant. This is like an advertisement for whoever makes that door threshold, like the door frame. Fucking blocked a full-speed police SUV. He bounced off of it. What is that made out of? Titanium? Adamantium? Like, look at this. It actually bounces the SUV back instead of crashing through the glass. That's impressive engineering. What a good build. So did the officer explain why he tried to crash through the front of the restaurant? Because at first I thought it'd be an accident, but this is clearly deliberate. He made no attempt to slow down or anything, really, it doesn't seem like. He just zooms through like it's GTA Online. It's insane the car is flying, Cazelli said on Tuesday. If I did this, I would be cited. It's unclear why the SUV swerved. James Pence, Morris' husband and another co-owner of the bar, said police initially told him they had to swerve to miss a dog. Officers later recanted and said they swerved to miss a parked car, the same explanation that police gave reporters. This parked car? Brother, I got news for you. If you have to swerve to miss this parked car, you shouldn't be behind the wheel. It's a parked car on a road with literally nothing on it. This is like the road outside of Courage the Cowardly Dog's house. There is nothing here. So if you had to swerve to miss this, you're either drunk driving or a terrible driver. He's a hero, don't you get it? True, I guess. I didn't even think of that. This is quite the stunt. Though I guess he's already out of control. Like, for some reason, it looks like he's already lost control of the vehicle, because he is kind of beelining towards that car, so maybe he really did swerve to miss it. I don't know why he tried to throw in a dog excuse. But why is he already losing control of his vehicle? Police did not respond to multiple requests for more information about the incident and Cazelli's accusations. They denied a sunshine request for dashcam footage of the incident, citing an active investigation. Man, that dashcam's gonna go hard. This is the aftermath. Looks like all of the framing's made out of wood. That's some strong wood. Mahogany, no doubt. The door didn't even budge. Didn't even make it to the door. This fine hard wood stopped it. Didn't even break the glass on it. I read a bit further about this after stream just because I was extremely curious as to how the officers would explain crashing into the bar like this. Like it's some kind of Dukes of Hazzard moment. And there still isn't any real answers.
Mike and Kelly, we still really don't have many answers from police, and the bar owners say this was really scary for them. Their friends, however, have been very supportive, and tonight they supported them in the best way they knew how, which meant opening the bar, damages and all.
A power move reopening the bar in the condition that it's in. It's going to look like a bar out of the Fallout universe, but hats off to them for it. Now, initially they claimed that they arrested one of the owners after blasting through the wall like the Kool-Aid man because it was a situation where the owner was resisting arrest. The officer claimed that he had been struck by the owner, which caused him to be off balance, which gave him probable cause to arrest the owner.
Surveillance video shows a St. Louis police vehicle crashing into the front of the bar.
I was loud. I was very vocal. But I never did anything to make any officer feel like I was trying to harm them or anything. I wanted to know why there was a police vehicle sitting in my building.
Which I think is a pretty reasonable response given the situation. They apparently live above the bar, which means they would have heard this happen, and they probably assume they got hit by a fucking missile. So I think that is a perfectly warranted natural response given the circumstances. You're woken up to this loud explosion downstairs, you know, like, hey, Buster, what's going on? Why did you crash your vehicle into my business, bub? Come on. Jiminy Christmas. Like, you would have probably thought you got hit by a drone strike or something. And then you just see this SUV halfway through your business. Now, luckily they invested in some of the highest quality wood the fucking United States has ever seen, so it didn't get all the way through into the bar and, like, bust everything up. It was mainly just damage to the front. But even still, that's pretty scary and confusing, so it makes sense he would be loud.
Pence was briefly detained by officers at the very tense scene, but Morris was arrested, charged with multiple felonies, including assaulting a police officer and held without bond.
There's currently no evidence to confirm the officer's side of the story that he was assaulted by the owners or anything like that. And the charges that were brought against him initially have already been reduced, but the lawyer that's representing them isn't satisfied with just misdemeanor charges being on the table. He wants the whole thing dropped. He says this is a bunch of baloney. He says that they actually have a video that confirms that the police were the aggressors, and from a couple of the articles I read, they reference another video that doesn't show any type of physical confrontation between the owners and the officers. So if this video exists, it should help prove that the owners were not in the wrong in any way. The only thing that is confirmed is that the owners were yelling, which again I think is totally understandable, given an SUV just crashed into their building in the middle of the night, scaring the bejesus out of everybody. Yelling about your business being attacked by a police SUV out of nowhere like a jump scare is not grounds for an arrest. So the attorney on Twitter is saying that they have a video to confirm there was never any physical confrontation. From some of the articles I've read, there's other videos that exist that also don't show any kind of like assault on the officer or anything like that. Now, if you want my theory here, I think the officer was extremely embarrassed with his awful driving and after hitting the building, immediately went into action movie mode. So the airbag deploys, blasts him in the face, maybe semi-concusses him, and then he's in a war zone in his brain at that point. So he pops open the door and does a combat rollout. He takes one knee, pistol drawn. He's got his service pistol out, analyzing the situation, and then all of a sudden the owners start yelling. And I think he was already in so deep that he felt like he needed to make an arrest or something. Like, that's what I think. I think it all stems from the shame of being such a dog shit driver that he ran into this fucking building. That's my theory. I don't think the owners assaulted the officer. I do think they were definitely yelling at him, which they had every right to do, but I don't think there was any actual assaulting of the officer here. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to cover this situation a little bit because that footage of the police SUV hitting like this mean drift into the building out of nowhere for no reason had me scratching my head wondering how everything's going to pan out from this point forward. That is probably the worst driver the police academy has ever put behind the wheel of a police vehicle, I've got to say. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's really about it. Oh yeah, also, one more thing. Whoever built the front of that building really needs to capitalize off this situation and start saying like, hey, we were responsible for that super durable, super strong, indestructible build that blocked an SUV from getting through. Boy, oh boy, do I have some good news for you today. It's time for a little holly jolly celebration because Santa Claus came early with the gifts. This loser has finally been arrested. Now, I'm sure none of you recognize this guy. This is probably not a face any of you have seen unless you're a woman in New York, and in that case, this is probably a face that you swiped left on Tinder for. But this is the face of the man known as penguinz0, the infamous street racer who's blown up on Instagram and YouTube over the last few months. This isn't like a really stunning revelation, he just looks like a normal asshole. It's not like some kind of big twist like it's Bruce Wayne behind the Batman mask or anything. But I actually recently talked about Squeeze because he went on Neon's stream and did his street racing stunt maneuvers and ended up getting in a hit and run live on Kick. So of course I was making fun of him and tossing tomatoes, shouting boo. I think it is so incredibly lame to do the kind of shit that penguinz was, where he'd just go out on public roads and put everyone's lives in danger around him, just driving fast and recklessly for his content. And this is a criminal who is addicted to attention, which has to be the worst combination for a human being ever. If you are a criminal, the last thing that you would want is a lot of eyes on you. But this guy, Jiminy Christmas, he was absorbing it like a sponge in a sink. This guy was more addicted to attention than a heroin addict is to the needle. This guy couldn't get enough of it, so he took every opportunity imaginable to promote himself. So this was always inevitable. He was either going to get arrested or get himself or someone else killed. Luckily, he was arrested before the second thing happened. Now, before really diving into the weeds of the arrest here and everything around it, I want to show you a little bit more of the lore to Squeeze, so you can get a big taste of the cringe that is penguinz.
You mix danger, but there's also other people at risk when you do that. Innocent civilians. So what do you think about the element of danger for that?
I've been doing this since real shit since I was 9. I used to take my dad's car out and I used to just bug out. I've been doing this for so long now that I feel like I did some professional.
This guy must have found a moron potion at some point in his life and he has not been able to break the curse. The effects still linger. He did an interview with Tommy G, a very popular video, over 8 million views here, where he's revealing some pretty sensitive information really, all while acknowledging that he's one of the most wanted people in the area by the authorities. How stupid can you be? He's going on a press tour here to promote himself while actively engaging in illegal activity and putting himself in as many places as possible, giving authorities all the evidence they could ever require. He also has the gall to call himself a professional. He is a talented driver, no doubt, but the only thing he's a professional at is not dying. That's it. He's going out there and gambling with everyone's lives and his own, and nothing beyond that. He's not a professional at anything, he's just currently surviving. Is all.
How I drive. There's been incidents where I've gone out with people and they tried keeping up with me and they've crashed.
How fast do you go?
I mean, there's been a video on live where I've gone one-handed 210 miles an hour.
Filming with one hand, driving with the other, 210 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's insane. Did that scare you?
Not really, just to build up a tolerance of just speed.
Do you feel like the police watch your Instagram?
100%, they do.
Let's pop in the...
100% they do, which is why I'm doing all of these interviews to help them in their pursuit. It reminds me of this classic story where the police put out a post on Facebook asking for information about a woman who was an accessory to a murder, and the woman they were looking for actually commented on the post asking about the reward money that was being offered, and so they were able to find her because of that. Squeeze and that lady are two sides of the same coin, just pure degenerate dummy. Anyway though, he's finally been arrested after an incident that happened back in April where Squeeze allegedly made an illegal turn and proceeded to elude the police at high speeds. Then officers found videos of him committing various traffic violations throughout the tri-state area. Apparently the NYPD did a little fusion dance and a fist bump with another department, and they worked together and found Squeeze because he was wanted on other charges including burglary, theft, conspiracy, and more. I was reading a couple of other reports where he allegedly punched a 20-year-old man in a deli. So I'm not exactly sure what all went down there, but ultimately it ended with him getting arrested and the NYPD commissioner taking a victory lap here and dunking on him on Twitter by saying penguinz is in custody thanks to New York's finest. And then he posted a picture of his Instagram with the word apprehended slapped across it there, as if it's some kind of busted thing in Grand Theft Auto. So Antonio going from penguinz to penguinz here, being shoulder to shoulder squeezed into a cell with other dudes, hopefully. But there's no telling if he's actually going to face real prison time. It seems he's been released because after all of this, he did make an Instagram post about how he can't go live on there. So then he made a Twitch account, which I can't find. I do see a Squeeze Bins account there, but there's nothing on it, and I think that's just an impersonator trying to capitalize off of this. His original Instagram account appears to be banned, and the only one I can find is another one that appears to be an impersonator, but maybe it really is him. I have no fucking clue. I also can't help but giggle that he decided to make a Twitch account instead of a Kick account. Like, not even this blatant criminal who has already broadcast crimes on Kick wants to make an account over there and stream on purpose. He still decided to go to Twitch first and foremost. That's kind of crazy to me because Kick is the home of broadcasting illegal activity. They don't do shit about it there. They give you like a subtle thumbs up because it's driving more traffic to their site. That should be home turf for Antonio here. Squeeze Bins would be hoisted on their shoulders like a golden goose. And yet he still said, ew, I'll just go to Twitch instead. That boggles my mind a little bit. I did laugh when I read that he made a Twitch account. I wish they'd make an example out of him here. He's not like the only one doing this kind of content, the lone alpha wolf or anything here. This is a pretty popular niche of content online where people just put on a helmet or wear some kind of mask and then just commit crimes. And like, taunt authorities driving around recklessly, endangering a bunch of innocent people's lives on the road for content and views on Instagram and YouTube and shit. He is far from the only one doing this. So I think if they would actually give a fuck here and pursue real serious charges and actual repercussions for his actions, it could help to dissuade others from pursuing this. At least I would hope. I would really like them to not play softball here and actually do something about this. He has been caught. Hand in the cookie jar here. He has all of this evidence that he himself has compiled about his crimes and how he's not remorseful and will always continue to do it, most likely. Why the fuck would you just give him a slap on the wrist? It's also more than the dangerous driving. He apparently beats people in delis, at least according to some of the reports here. Like, this is not someone that they should just be playing like patty cake with here and saying, hey, don't do it again. All right, now get out of here. Come on, scram. Like, this is something that they should be taking far, far more seriously. I really hope that his release is a temporary thing as they build up a meteor case against him, so that way he'll actually get thrown in the slammer. There's just no excuse for it at all. Just going onto public roads and compromising everyone's safety for your content, I just think it truly super sucks. And I think the fans of this kind of content are extraordinarily annoying. So there are still like Squeeze Bins enthusiasts that are losing sleep over this, thinking that he's done nothing wrong. Nobody got hurt, even though in his interview with Tommy G, he says that people have tried to emulate him and they have crashed. So people have literally gotten hurt. He also did get involved in a hit and run on stream, but whatever, I suppose. Just go ahead and ignore reality here and continue to live in fucking delusional Narnia land. But, you know, hey, they're Squeeze Bins guys. Of course they wear diapers and eat glue. Is what it is, I guess, but I'm just super happy that he's finally been arrested, and I can only hope that they do throw the book at him. So yeah, anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.